And welcome to another episode of T&A Top Ten. I'm your host T Weave. With me, as always, is the A in T&A,
Hey, buddy. I think
the
we
one and
glitched a
only
little bit
Andrew. How
there.
you doing, bud?
There you are. Okay, so the audio caught up with us. That's correct. I am the A and TNA. Poor Terry over there. He is dealing with all of my nonsense today. I've got a new webcam. I can't figure out the virtual background. The microphone is okay, I guess. Um, we had a really late start getting started because I got delayed at work, and he's sitting here being very patient with me, so I do appreciate it. And that's why he's the producer and I'm not, because shit would have got broken by now. But anyway, buddy, it's been 5, 6 days, and we have more good in the world happen this week, I think, than last week. So might be a better show this week. At least it won't be so damn depressing.
Well, we didn't come up with an asshole of the week. I said it last week. I'm not going to carry a list of assholes with me just for a chance to put them on the air. But, we'll have a champ of the week, like we said. We're going to have that every week. There's plenty of good folks out there to mention. But, you know, the other day, SmackDown was in Birmingham, and I thought, I'm going to Dynamite at the end of the month. SmackDown's a couple hours from me. I could go to that. And damn if The Rock didn't
Were
show
you
up.
there or no?
I mean, come on. He didn't show up at the Royal Rumble, but he shows up in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
No, I wasn't there. I didn't think there was a reason to go. I mean, Raw is supposed to be the show that has the after Rumble, after pay per view kind of stuff, not SmackDown. So maybe I learned my lesson there. If they're close, go.
Well, and SmackDown, of
I don't know.
course, is the A show these days.
But
So
we expected. Yeah, and who knows what's happening with
yeah, SmackDown's
Netflix
the A.
and
All I was
Raw
saying is
going to
SmackDown's the
Netflix
A show.
next
Yeah.
year and all that stuff. I mean, it's probably going to be more of the A show after that, but pretty interesting. I've purposely not talked to you about this too much since it happened because I wanted to save some for the show. But everybody thinks they know exactly what's going to happen. Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. He gets to choose his opponent at WrestleMania. He comes out and starts talking to Roman, and damn if he didn't say that he's not going to challenge him for WrestleMania. And then The Rock comes out there. I think we got a little bit of people asked for The Rock versus Roman for a long time. And then when Cody showed up, they quit asking for it. And then they ended up getting it. People are pretty pissed about it.
Yeah, I
What do
don't
you think?
understand the hate. It's a predetermined sport. They're obviously athletes, all that. But The Rock is the biggest name in entertainment. He's a member of the TKO board. I get that Cody Rhodes, and I've had this conversation with several people, not you. So I guess this will work for the show. Um, the one thing about it with Cody Rhodes, is obviously there's the comparisons to his father. Okay. For my money, for a Dusty Rhodes guy, Dusty's on my Mount Rushmore of all professional wrestlers, and not because he was the greatest worker of all time, but because of his contributions to professional wrestling.
Hold up. Hold up. Did Andrew just say Mount
I know
Rushmore? I thought you
it's
were
so fucking
anti
Eddie
Mount
P.
Rushmore.
Um, and he'll never listen to our show. Because he was afraid I was going to beat his ass in Chicago. But yeah, so like if there's a real Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, Dusty Rhodes is on it in so many categories that you better put him on Mount Rushmore. But anyway, my my point
Yeah,
was he was
he's
never really a long-term champion. He was always a transitional champion or a champion in a moment. I think his total 3 reigns as the world's heavyweight champion, as Harley used to say, was less than 6 total months, and that's in the NWA territory days. He was so much more entertaining when he was chasing superstar Billy Graham, when he was chasing Harley Race, when he was chasing the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And that's what Cody can be. And here's the problem, Terry, that WWE has done, but it's credit to Cody. He's the biggest babyface since John Cena. He's their John Cena. He is who The Rock was to so many people for a long time, the guy everybody wants to see. And, they want to put The Rock and Roman together, and that's fine. I said it 8 years ago. They should have turned Roman on The Rock in Philly at Rumble 15. When The Rock came out to try to save the show after Roman had been force-fed to the fans, to me, what should have happened is that Roman hits him with the spear, hits him with the Superman punch, leaves him laying, cue the Shield music, because that's what they were using at the time. And when he comes out the next night, he explains that nobody's going to take his signlight, including The Rock, the greatest star, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you move on to WrestleMania. That WrestleMania, of course, is where Seth Rollins cashed in against Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And so, from that standpoint, they did do a booking reset because they knew Roman was not the guy that they needed to put the title on. Now he's the number one heel. Obviously, the Rock Roman story has been teased for 2 years at this point. It's not like this is a new idea, new invention. However, things are more advantageous. And I'd like to remind everybody of that fucking African elephant in the room that's Vincent Kennedy McMahon getting ready to go to court in multiple levels, in multiple states, with multiple defendants and multiple plaintiffs and all of the rest of it. Um, they need a win. TKO, WWE, whatever you want to call it, they've got to have a win, Terry, and they're not going to get a win um, with Cody dethroning Roman when you've got The Rock right there. The other thing is, this is where Dusty and Cody are so similar. Cody don't need the title. He's one of those guys who simply does not need the World Heavyweight Championship. He doesn't need the Universal title. He doesn't need a championship to be Cody Rhodes, the guy that takes pictures, signs autographs, bring kids into the ring, sells merchandise through the freaking roof at this point. Now, I doubt he's as hot as Hogan was in the 80s or Austin was in the Attitude Era, but the man's selling some merch. He's getting paid big
Of
bucks.
course not.
Big bucks. Now I'm going to take a breath and a drink, but my point is that everybody can get mad. Ultimately, this is my opinion. They're going to get to Cody and Roman somehow. I don't think this is the end of this. I think, and we're not even watching Raw tonight, but I think somehow they are going to get to Cody and Roman. And I think this is a work. I think this is testing the water. They got mainstream media picking up how dissatisfied fans are. You have 2 million downvotes on YouTube for The Rock coming back SmackDown Friday that you talked about.
That's
You're going to
huge.
tell me that people like Triple H and Nick Khan and all the
That's a
guys in
win.
TKO are so stupid that they're not gonna pay attention to what the fans want and are saying? Believe me, part of this has got to be a work, because wrestling is a work, the words of, what's his name? The former WCW boss, not Bill Watts, but the other one, I just lost his name. Not
Bischoff.
Bischoff, the one Hurd, Jim Hurd, Jim Hurd.
Bischoff.
The greatest lie ever told
Jim
is
Hurd of
what
all
we
people.
call professional wrestling. It's the greatest lie ever told. Um, and if anybody hasn't seen it, that interview with Conrad, Conversations with Conrad of exclusive ad-free shows, there's your plug, Connie. Now refund our money for us for our Top Guy subscription, because we're doing free ads on this show now, apparently. But that was worth the price of admission in all seriousness. Listening to Jim Hurd talk about Ric Flair, the Horseman, all of the decisions he made, um, was really, really impressive. But anyway, wrestling's the greatest lie ever, Terry. It's the greatest lie ever. And it keeps us entertained. But honestly, what more is left to tell of the Bloodline story if you don't include The Rock? And take it away, buddy. It's all you. What's left? What's left to tell?
Well, I mean, we've been at I mean, that's the thing. It's like if you would have said we had Rock and Roman a year and a half ago, people would have been thrilled. There's no reason not to be thrilled now. Got the Cody thing. There's time. I think Cody will eventually win it. And, there's a particular title that he's after, and that's the one Roman has. It doesn't, and he said, his words were, I'm just not doing it at WrestleMania. That leaves it open for plenty of room in the future. Now, barring some kind of career-ending injury, which Cody's a pretty tough guy. He's going to come back from most things. We're going to see that eventually. Does he win it from Roman? Probably not. How do we end up seeing that? Does The Rock end up beating Roman? That's interesting. What happens if The Rock becomes champion? He's not going to be there all the time. I mean, what does that even mean? Um, who knows? We might have another WrestleMania with a World Championship tournament like WrestleMania 4.
Oh.
And then Cody wins it that way. There's plenty of opportunity for storyline.
Well, and that's the thing that they needed an out. They needed a new avenue because, quite frankly, the Bloodline story is the matches are pretty similar. You've got the top wrestlers taking on Roman, the outside interference from the Bloodline, Paul Heyman on the mic, this, that, and the other. Roman doing his thing. One thing you can say about Roman Reigns is he is a much better promo than he was 5 years ago. He's an incredibly good promo. He's very good on the mic.
Oh
The
yeah.
gestures, the timing, the crowd, the breathing, the cadence, all of those things matter, and he's got it. But from the standpoint of the bloodline, how many times are you going to see Solo Sikoa interrupt a match? How many times are Jimmy and Jay going to help Roman win the title? And I get it. The Horsemen did it. The NWO did it. I mean, and we talked about that, I think, last week or whatever.
2 or 3 more times. 2 or 3 more times than anybody really wants to
And
see it.
that's
Just
it. I
enough
mean,
to
because you
piss them
know how
off
it's going to end. Did
because it gets your
anybody
attention.
really think Roman wasn't walking out of Rumble with the title? And there were 3 great wrestlers in that match. 3
No
great
chance.
wrestlers, Terry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Like I said, I think we're on a little bit of an audio delay, but I know you'll fix that.
No.
3 great wrestlers though. And they never had a prayer. They never had a prayer of beating Roman Reigns for that Universal Championship. Not a prayer.
Not a Royal Rumble. If it were SummerSlam or if it were WrestleMania,
Nope.
there's a chance. But not at Royal Rumble because you're not gonna get that kind of thing happen in a side match at Royal Rumble. It's
Well,
just not gonna
and I
happen.
think the Rumble's lost its luster. And here's why I say that. You and I talked about it last week on Top 10, and I think we did a really nice job, highlighting the different ways WWE tried to finish the Rumble. There's only so many ways to finish the Royal Rumble. There's only so many surprises and so many creative directions you can go. And that's why wrestling is completely recycled. Without the Four Horsemen, there's not the NWO, the Bullet Club, DX, whatever. Okay, we get it. They're the prototype. But do you know that there were wrestling factions before the Four Horsemen? Because there were. It's that simple. Bobby Heenan had Nick Bockwinkel and Stevens and Patterson at one point, all under his tutelage. So there you go. Anyway, um, yeah, The Rock coming back.
Yeah, and if you look at our top 10, one thing you'll notice is the only ones that showed up that were in the last 10 years or so were both
Yep.
women's Royal Rumble matches. None of the men's matches from the last 10 years showed up there.
Originality seemed to be a big thing with the voters. Like, with the finish with Hulk, Sid, and Ric Flair is number
Yeah.
one. With Shawn Michaels winning, knocking Davy Boy out of the ring
Mhm.
after he'd skinned the cat in '95. Number two, I guess the women, only because they were the women, but also they did have good finishes. It was just not necessarily what we would. It's not. There's
Yeah.
no. What am I trying to say? It wasn't that they were bad finishes or anything in a lot of these rumbles, but there was nothing so special about them. The one we didn't talk about a finish was '05, and that was when Cena and Batista and Vince blows out both his quads and all that. That's a memorable finish, but is it the best finish ever?
Yeah.
Absolutely not, because they screwed it up. They screwed it up, and that happens. That's why they were able to call that audible. But
It's also inconsistent. If you go through and let me give a little background here. So in 1999,
oh
I
god,
moved to Auburn, started going to school there.
I almost wore my Alabama
Um,
shirt today. I
let's get
almost
to
wore my
wrestling in a
Alabama
minute.
shirt. Roll Tide.
I almost wore an Auburn shirt. But anyway, in '99, I moved to Auburn. Um, I was a
Mhm.
WCW guy, and I was watching Nitro every week. Thunder, I guess I watched that too. I don't know. I don't remember really. But it was starting to
Oh,
suck
buddy,
in '99, about the time
you ain't
I went
lying.
down there, and I quit watching. I quit watching from '99 to 2019, 20 years. So I missed some big stuff
Mhm.
happening. Um, my son came home when he was 5 years old. He used to go to this daily, like, summer camp thing, and he came home, and we're standing in the kitchen, and he says, "Dad, John Cena's my favorite wrestler." And I'm like, "How do you even know that? We don't watch that." So that got me back into it. Well, the first thing I did, I got the WWE network, and I did two things. First thing is, I watched every episode of World Championship Wrestling studio shows, because that was my favorite time in the history of wrestling, and I watched that whole thing through multiple years. So I did that. The second thing I did, I was like, I need to catch up on these years that I missed. So I watched every Royal Rumble match from the beginning all the way to me catching up, and that was in 2019. So that prepared me for the 2020 Royal Rumble. That way I could see all the gimmicks and stuff that were in the Rumble. And one thing I noticed, boy, the inconsistency. Some things would cause a disqualification, like what's his name, the Irish guy.
Drew
I
McIntyre or
can't even
Sheamus?
think of his name. Um,
Mac
but anyway,
McIntyre's
he got
Scottish,
sent
but
out.
Sheamus. Oh,
No, 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 a long
Fit
time
Finley?
ago. The guy, yeah, this would have been in the Fit Finley. Yes, thank you. So Fit Finley got disqualified from the Royal Rumble for a foreign object. Next thing you know, Terry Funk's got a damn chainsaw in the ring. So there's some inconsistency. And then you talk about, we had one of them that we put up there. We had a multiple winners because they hit the floor at the same time. Next thing you know, John Cena and Batista do the same thing, and they make them keep going. It's like no consistency. But it's wrestling. What the hell do I expect, right?
Yeah, they're not winning.
Exactly.
Vince is out there blowing both quads, which maybe he deserved after all we talked about last week. I don't know. Maybe it was karma in advance. Um, but yeah, the I get what you're saying with the Rumble being inconsistent, the rules being inconsistent. You know, one thing that hardcore wrestling fans like myself complain about AEW about, and I'm not going to turn this into an AEW bitch session by any means, is there's really no rules and they bury the referees. Like they bury the refs. I mean, oh, if a tag match, did he tag him? Oh, it doesn't matter. You know, oh, we're going to be outside on the floor brawling for 10 minutes because
Was he
yeah,
holding the tag rope?
because Moxley's in this match, so we're gonna be brawling through the crowd and getting the staple guns out and putting boards out. And oh, by the way, it's no disqualification, even though we didn't announce it that way. You know, some of that stuff, like, you know, for older fans like you and me, and I mean, I'm not even talking how old we are. We grew up watching a product where there were rules and then there were formulas where if you got a no disqualification match, that was a big deal because that meant that this had gone a long time and now it was time, you know, for
It
something
was.
different. So, some of that inconsistency, like you're talking
Or a
about,
cage match.
yeah, the cage match was the blow off.
Yeah. Cage matches didn't just happen out of the blue. That was because 'cause we're so tired of your bastard tag team partner interfering behind the ref's back.
Yep.
We've gotta keep you out. And it wasn't so that we could climb the damn thing and escape because 'cause we're sissies. It was so that we could put a roof on the top of us, walls around us, and you cannot escape me, and I'm gonna bloody you right now. That's what it was about.
Yeah. Well, and it was about the babyface getting the
Because
comeuppance,
'Cause I'm
as we
tired of
call
you
it,
running
you know, on the heel,
like
and
a coward.
that really did matter. I'm waiting for our audio
Yep.
to catch up again. You can go ahead and
Alright, that's
clip
enough
that
wrestling
at
talk.
1944.
Why don't we move along?
Like,
So
my
so
internet must
listen, we
suck.
did
It's
have
mine
a
or
death
yours
we
tonight, buddy,
wanted to
because I see
mention. I
mine
guess
fine,
everybody's
but
been
you're
talking
like
about this. Carl
you're
Weathers died.
you're glitchy over there. And then I heard you just say Carl
Well,
Weathers
yours is
died.
local to you. Mine's
So,
local to me, so
you know,
somewhere in the middle it's going bad.
yeah, I don't know. But anyway, there you are. Carl Weathers. Buddy, why did Apollo Creed have to
All right.
die?
So anyway, let me run it down
Yeah,
for you.
why did Apollo Creed
Somebody's
have to
got some
die?
internet tonight.
Is it mine or is it yours,
Well, one
legitimately?
thing I didn't really know I didn't know his football background. I mean, I guess I knew him as Apollo Creed. I mean, he was in some big things. He was in Predator. He was in the Rocky series. Um, Multiple Adam Sandler movies. Most notably, he was Chubbs in Happy Gilmore. Um, he was in Toy Story, and then he was in The Mandalorian most recently. But this guy was in a lot of good stuff. But he started out. He took theater at San Diego State, and he played linebacker there. He played one season for the Oakland Raiders before he started just becoming an actor. And he'll be missed. I don't know a lot about him other than that. I just saw him on the screen. He wasn't in the news other than things that he did on screen. So,
If he
you
dies, he
know,
dies. What a
good for
line.
him.
You're at the height of the Cold War. You're sending Rocky to battle Drago, but to set it all up, you kill Apollo Creed in the red, white, and blue boxing shorts in an exhibition match in New York City or wherever it was, wherever they were holding the fight. I forget now. I contend to this day, Terry. I contend
I
to
don't
this
know.
day that Rocky Four is the perfect piece of Cold War propaganda because you kill the American hero in Apollo Creed, as played by Carl Weathers. And then Rocky goes to Moscow
Yep.
and he prepares old school to fight Drago and takes him down inside, the Kremlin Sportatorium. Okay. For anybody wondering, because I do have a master's degree in European history, and the area of concentration was the Soviet Union, I promise you that shit would never happen. Old Rocky would
Wow.
have never gotten out of Moscow alive. So that's part of the problem there.
Did you just say, hold up, hold up? I know I delayed this a little bit. Did you just call it the Kremlin
Correct.
Sportatorium?
Correct. What do I care? The both. You know what the Kremlin and the Sportatorium have in common?
Well, you put them together. What do you
They're
have?
both
What do you have?
retired
What do they have
shitholes that no
in
longer
common?
exist. And that's why you love
Oh,
me. But anyway, yeah. So
all right.
I think Carl Weathers was fantastic. I loved him in Predator with Arnold. Let's face it. Back
Definitely.
in the day, in the 80s, anything Arnold Schwarzenegger touched was money. Terminator, Predator, even before then, the Conan series, the Conan the Barbarian, the Destroyer. Um, he did Total Recall for anybody want. Kindergarten Cop. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. Wait a minute. It's 2024. We don't assume those things. But anyway, Arnold was fantastic in all of his movies back in the day. Um, and I loved him as the governor of California. Not because I believed in his politics or anything, which we rarely talk about on this show, but because during a debate with Huffington and somebody else, he said, "Your policies have such big holes in them, or your environmental policies have such big holes in them, I could drive my Humvee through them." So that popped the shit out of me because here you are, Arnold's driving a 4 miles to the gallon gas guzzling Humvee, running as the governor of California, debating
Oh
somebody
yeah.
talking about their environmental
Yeah.
policies. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. Ariana Huffington was her name. Um,
Not only was Arnold driving a Hummer, nobody else would be driving a Hummer in the public if it weren't for Arnold. He
yeah.
pushed that thing. He was like the first guy to be doing that. He
And
put
now
it
you
in
can
the
get an
mainstream.
electric one for about a buck and a quarter,
But I mean,
Terry. Damn. I ain't paying $125,000 for an automobile I
so
have to
a lot
plug
of people
in.
came
Go
out.
ahead. A lot of people came out. I apologize.
Well, I mean, a lot of people came out saying real positive things about Carl Weathers after he died. Arnold did. Sylvester
Oh shit,
Stallone
he was
did,
Chubbs.
Adam Sandler,
He was Chubbs
anybody that
Peterson.
worked with him
Everybody loves
talked
Chubbs.
big
You
things.
know. Mm.
Chubbs,
I
exactly.
took his eye out. You're pretty sick, Chubbs. Talking about the alligator. That shit was funny. I got his eye. He's carrying his eye around in his pocket. Oh,
I got to go watch that in memory of him.
I'm gonna go watch Rocky 4
But
because it
yeah,
was
so
badass.
obviously he'll be missed. Hell, let's watch
Why
all
not?
of them this weekend. What else? What else is going on this weekend that we
Well,
could
I
watch
mean,
this
I
year?
think there's a game,
All right. So speaking of something that might
a
be
game
going
or a
on this
concert or
weekend,
whatever you want. It
yeah.
depends on who you're talking to, because boy, does there a lot of heat going on in the NFL world these days. People just don't know how to act, do they? Talking about old T Swift and her being at the game.
So who's actually doing the halftime show?
Oh, it's
Who's doing the
shoot,
halftime
we didn't
show?
put it in the notes either, and I know this. Um, isn't it a boy band halftime show?
Who is performing?
I think it's a boy band, buddy. Is
Usher?
it Usher?
Is it Usher? I'm seeing something about Usher here. I don't know. Guess we'll see. I don't know. It's funny. It seems like a few months ago, Taylor Swift turned it down. And then next thing you know, it's like that would have worked out really
Yeah,
well.
Usher.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't watch it for the halftime show anyway. I don't even watch it for the commercials anymore.
And
They're not
buddy,
any good anymore. It used to be when I was a kid, that would be one of the biggest things. And then they suck now.
I got you.
And if they're any good, they come out like a week before the Super Bowl. I just don't get that.
Yeah, yeah, well, they preview them.
But
They're on
anyway,
the internet. They're
so
leaked
the Super
out.
Bowl or the
Horrible.
big game or
Yeah.
whatever
Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. No, that's okay. So anyway, the Super Bowl, big game, whatever we're supposed to call it. I think as long as I don't title the episode Super Bowl, I'm good. Because we've said it about 50 times, Super Bowl,
I
Super
thought
Bowl,
the
Super
Super
Bowl,
Bowl
Super
was.
Bowl. So they can get a percentage of our cut.
Yeah, I thought the Super Bowl was where you smoke dope, but I mean, we apparently have our addresses mixed up.
Okay. Anyway, so Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. We've been talking about that a little bit. The numbers point to the Niners, but this is not the Chiefs team that played all season, so it's going to be hard to pick against the Chiefs. And you mentioned Taylor Swift, and I mentioned in the notes here, there's been a lot of talk because she's got a concert in
Correct.
Japan the day before, and I think somebody in Japan, like somebody in the government in Japan, said she will make it back in time for the game. I mean, they made a statement about that, like they didn't want her to miss the game
Well,
because of them,
that's
and that
pretty
is
impressive,
it's
pretty
pretty
insane.
insane.
Shows you her star power. She is a role model for women. I don't care what anybody says. She
Yeah,
carries herself well. She does the right things charity wise. She's very
and she's
talented. She
talented.
is beautiful in her own way. She's not my cup of tea, but she doesn't have to be, obviously. Um, but
Right.
from that to the football game, I think I'm giving this one to San Fran, believe it or not. And I think the Chiefs are firing on all cylinders, but they were the victims, San Francisco, of a Chiefs win. Andy Reid, arguably one of the greatest coaches ever, coaching the Chiefs. But I think Shanahan has that defense locked in, ready to go. They've got tremendous pass rushing from Bosa and Chase Young. They can run the ball with Christian McCaffrey as well as catch it. You got someone like George Kittle listed as a tight end who plays slot
Mhm.
receiver, very dangerous down the field. Better watch the seams and protect those. Um, Brock Purdy is the question mark, I think, for San Francisco, because obviously on the other side is
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so let's not get this twisted. Patrick Mahomes is the
Right.
opposing quarterback.
And we've talked about Purdy. I mean, we talked about Purdy. He's either
But
off
when
or he's on. He'll be off for part of the game. He'll be
Yeah,
really on for part of the
and when he's
game.
on,
Very
buddy,
good when
he's
he's
hard
on.
to beat. And then that defense of his gives them opportunities.
Yeah.
Sets him up really, really well. But I think San Francisco's going to come
Yep.
into this one with a little bit of an edge. I don't mean that they should be the favored. I mean that they want that championship. It's been 1995 since San Francisco won a Super Bowl. They lost the Harbaugh Bowl to the Ravens in what, '09 or 10 when Ray Lewis retired. They lost the Super Bowl a few years back with of course the Chiefs again. Um, and the thing is, the Chiefs are going to continue to play for and win Super Bowls for as long as they want to. As long as Patrick Mahomes is pulling the trigger, he's got somebody like Kelsey to throw the ball to,
Hmm.
and Andy Reid is out there coaching. Um, Even with a defense that is what I would call subpar, mediocre, average, whatever word you want to use, they played up during the playoffs and they got the job done. But I say all that sounding like I'm going to pick
Yeah.
Kansas City, but I think San Francisco comes in with a different level of preparation this time around, and I think you see some defensive schemes that might get Mahomes off of his
Hmm.
spot. And I don't think you see anybody hanging 60 points this time around, Terry. I think you're going to see an average scoring football game. You're not going to see either team shoot the lights out come Sunday.
I mean, the tight ends in this game. I mean, both
Kittle
of
and
them are
Kelsey, yeah. And
fabulous.
like I said, Kittle to me is
I mean,
more of a
these are
slot receiver just because of the way they
yeah,
use him. But you talk about a guy that's
yeah.
evasive, that's deceivingly physical. You would expect Travis Kelsey to be physical because that's a big guy. I mean, he is a large man. Kittle is not
Hmm.
as big as Kelsey, I don't think. At least he doesn't look like it from an optic standpoint. But damn it if he don't want to play
Right.
football, and he comes to play. And the other thing is he's apparently such a good person and a hell of a character too. So I mean, we love him, obviously for his play, but he's also a wrestling fan. But like he is genuinely a good person and a nice person, and he's a fun-loving goofball until kickoff. And then, or before kick, you know what I mean, game time. And then he he
Like a
locks it
Tim
in.
Tebow
Yeah, he
kind of
locks it in, and it's
attitude.
all business from there on out. And that's why he has the patch he has on his shirt that says he's the captain of the
Yep.
football team. And on the other side, we both know Kansas City's just so talented. They really are. This is a dynasty in the making. They haven't done the three-peat or anything like the Patriots or whatever, but this is the, what did they say? The sixth or eighth consecutive AFC championship. I want to say it was sixth. And they didn't win them all, but they certainly, I think they're 4 out of 5 or something going to the Super Bowl. It's crazy what they've done in Kansas City. So good for Andy Reid, good for Patrick Mahomes. I really wanted the Lions to be the ones in the Super Bowl. Um, so I'm
Oh yeah, I
I'm
think
going
most
with the
people
Niners
did.
because they're the underdog, which sounds really weird to say too. But again, their biggest question mark is who's their quarterback. At least I think so. I don't know if you have a different opinion.
Yeah, and the thing is, you look at the numbers, and the Niners were the best team in the NFL. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Chiefs, and I'm thinking, let me pick a score here.
And I'm like you. I
34-30.
think it's like 28-24, 27-24. I'll go 28-24. But I think San Francisco gets it done. So, little flashback, guys.
All right.
We picked a score, and Terry said, "Well, all
I
right."
got
Our 27 listeners that appreciate Terry's transitional phrase.
it's
Well, all right.
it's it's like we started with football and kind of ventured out or something. So this Super Bowl is in
Vegas.
Sin City, Las Vegas, and we got a little bit of a Vegas trip ahead of us in the future. That's we'll do that later. We're not too worried about
The
that.
hell you aren't.
But
I'm planning.
I've never been to Vegas.
Buddy, you've never
You ever
been to
been to
Vegas?
Vegas?
Okay. We're
Never
having
been
an
to
audio.
Vegas. Have you been to Vegas
Yeah,
before? You
I've been to
have been?
Vegas multiple times. Yes, sir. And I'm not a gambler. So,
You son of a bitch.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, bud, I've been to Vegas.
well
I went to Star I
well,
went
we're
to
about
Star
to find
I
out
went to
how big of
StarCast
a
in
deal is
Vegas.
gambling when you visit.
So, sorry, our audio
Okay, see, that's before I latched on to this
yeah,
whole
our
thing.
audio's
So
all
anyway,
jacked up tonight, but whatever. I went to StarCast in Vegas 2019, and then I went to Double or Nothing, the first AEW pay-per-view. And I got to see Cody and Dustin wrestle. And and
okay.
14,000 people chant Dusty at the MGM Grand. It was pretty cool before they locked up. When the crowd started chanting Dusty. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyway, Terry was getting ready to tell us about our top
Well,
10
we're about
things
to
to do
find
in Las
out what
Vegas because he's never been. And
Oh, look at you just stealing my thunder here. You won't let me introduce it. Anyway, like that bastard said, what we're going to talk about today is top 10 things to see and do in Las Vegas. Got a little visual here if we ever get the YouTube going. Boy, like you keep saying, the audio is not perfect tonight. And it would be a lot easier to edit if you wouldn't keep mentioning it. But
hey,
anyway,
leave
let's
it
just
in. Our people love transparency. All 29 of them, which we appreciate our listeners. I haven't said that yet this week, but we do appreciate.
oh man, 29.
I
I
make
don't
it
know where
up
that
like
number came
everything else.
from. Hey, we had a download
What?
from Germany. Okay, we had a download from Berlin. It may have been a
Which one
VPN,
of
but
our
I'm gonna ignore that.
government assets
But
is
we had a
traveling?
download from Berlin. We're international.
Anyway, so yeah, top 10 things to see and do in Las Vegas,
They're paying
and
attention
Hot
to us, right?
Daddies is not on the
Anyway,
list,
let's
and I'm
run through
disappointed
this
in
and see
Terry.
what we can do
But
in Vegas. And we voted on it.
oh, so about that, before we move on, strip clubs in Vegas apparently are legendary.
But
Here's the thing about a strip club. It costs too much to get in.
did they make the top
You
10?
get glitter everywhere. Um, you've got a high-speed internet connection unless you're me, and then we have this audio delay here. But you got a high-speed internet connection at the house, and adult entertainment is typically free if you visit one of those adult websites, and you don't have to shower smelling like cheap body spray. So, because our listeners care, Terry, the one and only time that I have visited a strip club, two things happened, and they probably are the reason I'll never go to a strip club again. Three things happened. Number one, I was the designated driver at a strip club named Mavericks in Sioux City, Iowa. Okay, Northwest Iowa, um, the meth capital of the Midwest.
Oh, an Iowa strip
Iowa
club.
strip
That's
club.
got to
Yeah,
be
this was not a
fancy.
classy joint.
Yeah.
Number two, obviously, it was ladies dancing, and that's fine, whatever. Um, Number three, the B team was on duty, and
Was it
buddy, it was
Monday
Saturday
afternoon?
night, and I don't know why the busted ass B team was on duty, and I don't know who's paying to see him naked, but it won't me. I did pay $7 for a Jack and Coke, and I said the drinks are too expensive. Now, mind you, this is in 2006, and it was $7 for a Jack and Coke. Actually, it wasn't even a Jack and Coke. I lied. I don't drink Jack and Coke, or I didn't. It was rum and Coke. Anyway, terrible decision. So that's why I don't do strip clubs. And again, you can get what you need out of that at home. You don't have to wash off the nasty ass body spray or the glitter and worry about whether Bubbles or Sunday are going to come and call on you later. Okay. Plus, you don't need to get singles for that. Again, it's all free. So Terry, that was my trip to the one and
Well,
only
let me put it
trip
this way. This
to an
is my
adult entertainment
philosophy on strip
facility, and
clubs, and I don't frequent strip clubs
I've not
either.
been.
And this is my reason for that. I I liken it to me going to the grocery store and taking a look at a bunch of steaks and paying for the steaks and then walking out the door without being able to eat the
Correct.
steak. Why would I do that? I don't care to. I'm not going to do it. There's plenty of other things to do in Vegas, and we're about to find out what those are. So why don't we quit delaying, quit teasing? Oh
Talking
wow,
about strippers and teasing,
that was
that a boy.
interesting. Yes,
That
quit
a
teasing
boy.
and move along. What number 10 thing to see and do in Las Vegas? Variety shows, and I put a few pictures in there this time. We got the Blue Man Group, we got America's Got Talent. There's several other things, but variety shows galore in Las Vegas. Something
Yeah,
fun to
buddy.
do.
I mean, Vegas is Sin City. It's adult entertainment. It's the strip clubs we were just joking about. It's a city that outside the city, rather the county, Henderson County of Nevada, prostitution is legal, which is why I'm going in early in July for our trip, and Terry and the rest of the gang are showing up later. And you can all figure that part out on your own. I'm not going to elaborate any further. Moving. Look at that face.
Moving on to number 9, we have the Grand Canal at the Venetian. There are shops, there are gondola rides, and we're moving on from any thought process he had. But this is everything's
My
big in Vegas. This is not just a little bit of a stream here. This is, in Huntsville we have a shopping center called Bridge Street that's kind of built like it's got a stream going through. You can do rides in the water. Like I said, I've never been to Vegas. I've never seen this in person, but I bet it makes that look like a joke. That's what I'm prepared for. Shops galore. If you like to do shopping and spend
which we do.
shitloads of money,
We do. We
this is
like
the
to
place
spend
to go.
shitloads of money. Listen, Terry, my parents had their anniversary picture taken here. I think it was number 30? Maybe 30, might have been an odd number, 31, 32, 33, something. They ended up doing a semi-tradition where they would go to Las Vegas
Good for them.
at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. They're also the reason they're also the
Fantastic.
they're also
I
the
might
reason
start
I
doing
hate
that
gambling.
myself.
They piss money away, and money we didn't have to piss away. So, you know, um, well,
don't get ahead of the list, buddy.
I
Don't get
mean, yeah, degenerate shit and all. Yeah, we know who voted number one. Anonymous, my ass.
Number 8, rides and roller
Yeah,
coasters.
buddy.
All sorts of rides and crazy big rides, and there's a water slide that goes through and like an aquarium with sharks and stuff. There's the Strat Tower with rides at the top. There's roller coasters
Yeah.
all over the place. Vegas
Well, and
doesn't
here's the
do it
thing for
small.
those people who don't know, and you might be one of them, Terry, that stratosphere ride that goes all the way to the top of Vegas, you get the view, and then you do the drop down plunge, all that stuff, that fun stuff. This shit is like 10, 15, 20, $25 a ride. So it's good. It's not like you can buy a pass park and bounce around from ride to ride to ride to ride or anything. You get one shot. We went to New York
Right.
one time, and because you're talking about rides, we went to New York. We did the little taxi around the hotel. That is badass, homie. Because you go outside and you catch it, and they got it all worked out and everything. And it's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of fun. Um, it just is one of those deals where, what was I going to say? At the time, now this was 2000 or 2001, honestly, because this was a family thing. And we went to Vegas, which I'll tell you more about that if we end up landing on the old Vegas as one of the destinations. And if we don't, I'm still going to tell you about it because it was hilarious. But anyway, um, it was $15 a person back then to ride the New York roller coaster. Think about that. This 2000, buddy. In Biden monies, that's got to be $50. So
30
yeah,
bucks now. I
yeah.
bet. 50 you're going. We'll see. So you're saying I might need to
You better
save
hit
up a
that
couple of
overtime
dollars.
working for the man, not a man, the man.
Moving on to number 7, we have immersive experiences. And I hear you saying it. What the hell does that mean? Okay, so I partially know what that means, but I'm not going to know what this really is until I see it. There's a place called Area 15. There's this other picture that I have here is this Omega Mart thing. I've been trying to research these. These are like altered reality. You're inside and you see things happening around you. Omega Mart apparently is going to do a 360-degree viewing
Wow.
of the Super Bowl, and they're going to offer that up, and that's
Yeah, and
pretty interesting to me. It's like because I know that like an Oculus, you're able to get like courtside for basketball games and stuff. This is going to be
yeah,
that
you
times
and
a
I were
thousand.
talking about it, and not to
I
do
think it's
any
going to be amazing.
spoilers or anything, we were talking about this these immersive experiences, and I think I told you, or it might have been somebody else I was talking about Vegas with recently. I said they got so much shit to do since I've been there, and I was there in 2019, but never really left the venues for Starcast. Like
Yeah.
I was at Caesars and I was at MGM and I went to a couple of other
Yeah.
places, but I never even looked at doing any of this because I was so focused on doing nothing but wrestling. I'm telling you, buddy, I cannot wait for our
Hmm.
whether our group does this immersive stuff or not, or the rides or not, or the Grand Canal. The Grand Canal looks like a lot of fun. Plus, if we go in July, we're going in July. Um, everybody meet us in Vegas in July. It's only a city of 90 million or how many ever go in there every year. Y'all come find us and we'll hang out. All 29 of our listeners, since Terry likes my numbers. Anyway, dude, we have so much to do,
29.
and let's put this out front. Wrestling isn't even on the list. Like that's one of the things our group likes to do, and that ain't even on the damn list. So I'm really looking forward if we can get one of these immersive experiences, because I know you listed these two, but they probably have 25 more because it's Las Vegas for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
It's Vegas. That was what I was getting
Right.
at.
Yeah.
They got so much stuff to
Exactly.
do, you never get away from it. Never. But anyway,
Moving on to number 6, we have Spa Day,
I did not vote for
and
Spa Day.
I
Do
may
not give
actually
me
do
that
this. It's
judgmental
been a
face,
while
sir.
since I've even had a massage, and I can just picture it.
What, me at the spa?
You're saying you didn't
I
vote
did
for
not pick
this?
Spa Day, homie. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't judge me. That might have been the female contingent of the voters this week.
Hey, we're not the only ones. I don't remember
I
where I
didn't
put
vote
it
for
either,
it. It
but
made it down the list.
I'm not saying that
No,
I
that's
won't
true.
partake. Look, I enjoy a good massage. I may put a couple of cucumbers on my eyeballs and
Here's my problem though.
relax, and
I
warm
ain't paying
warm
Las
faucets
Vegas
come on.
prices that are higher than fucking Snoop Dogg and
Relax.
Willie Nelson for
Yeah,
a
bro.
spa day.
Now that's true. That's true. That's true. It's not like what's her name down here at the chiropractor in Madison, Alabama that I
Exactly.
see once in
Yeah.
a while.
So
It's
what
gonna
did
be
you
a
all do in
couple of
Vegas?
dollars
Oh,
more.
I hopped a cross country fucking flight. Let TSA grope my ass. Spent $600 on the plane ticket. Got a beautiful hotel room, and I managed to go to a fucking spa where I spent $411.36 for a massage without a happy ending and no fucking cucumber water. Okay, I don't think so. Y'all have at it. How the hell did it make
Well,
the top 10?
hold on. I'm sure there's spas with
It's
happy
Las
endings.
Vegas, Terry. Of course there are. Yeah,
Well, somebody voted it pretty high. That's what I'm saying.
legal
You can
prostitution.
combine these things. Not that that's what
Yeah.
we're focused on here. Anyway, number 5 is here it is, gambling. We didn't vote this high because I also don't want to drop a bunch of a big wad of cash on gambling. I think others
I
in our
told
group may
her she
like it.
can't vote 1 through 5.
Quite
She who will
possible.
not be named, that degenerate shit she loves so much. But yeah, I told her she could not vote 1 through 5. She said no problem. I made it number 1. Well, of course you did. But this is someone who for 20 plus years has gone to Las Vegas. multiple times a year. So she loves it. She does. She loves it. So she gets a rush out of it. She's one of those folks that loves the high risk, high reward, and um, she's one of our best friends. So her opinion matters, and I'm sure, despite my objections, I will get stuck at a slot machine or a card table before it's all said and done. Um,
I'm going to. I'm not going out there and not dedicating a little bit of money to this. But here's the way I got to see it. I'm spending a certain amount of money, assuming I lose it all, for some entertainment purposes. You know, I'm not betting my
Absolutely not. No.
inheritance on this, right? So this
For
is for entertainment
exactly.
purposes only. If I ain't got it,
Well, and
I ain't
and
betting.
that's called being
Number
disciplined, sir.
4.
But go ahead with number 4.
Wait a minute. Disciplined in Vegas as I
Here
pull
we
up
go.
Fremont Street experience, and I
Yes,
did a little
sir.
research
Go ahead,
here.
Terry. I'm excited.
So Fremont Street,
Yeah,
this is what you're talking about. This is you said if it didn't show
yeah.
up, you wanted it to show up. So this was before the Strip. This existed. This is where Vegas started. This is up from what I read, and like I said, I haven't experienced it before, but this is 6 blocks or something of just pedestrian area and a lot of shit there.
Well,
Why
you
don't you
got to
tell me
drive
about it? You
92
seem excited.
miles to get there. And again, Terry loves my numbers because they're so false. But you really do. You got to drive or catch an Uber over there now because Vegas is huge. It's sprawling. You say, oh, it's only a mile away, but then you got to cross 3 freeways, get over the intersections, all this. I mean, it's terrible trying to. So I Ubered in Las Vegas for $150 for an entire week. Pretty good. Pretty good. But
Yeah, it's not
I don't
bad.
think Uber was as
That's
big as
not
it is
bad at
now in
all.
2019. I will put that out there. Number 2, Fremont Street. So back to the family vacation, the gambling degenerate parents that I had loved it. Um, so Las Vegas has a curfew for minors that's 10 o'clock, or at least it used to be. And my parents are out on Fremont Street, and I think they were at the Bayou, La Bayou. We might have to do a little cross-reference research here in a second, but I'm pretty sure it was La Bayou, and we ended up getting dropped off at an arcade. Well, like my mom and dad love Las Vegas, and kids can't be in the casino. So, and this might be why I hate gambling too, is because they always took us places
Right.
where my mom wanted to gamble, and she's dead. So I'm not speaking ill of the dead. She was my mother, so I can say it. She always wanted to go someplace where she wanted to gamble. The problem with that is it's not really a family vacation when the kids are in the hotel, or in this case, we were at an arcade. Well, the arcade, if you were under 18, you had to be out of there at 10 o'clock. My younger sister and I didn't see the sign. I'm 15, she's 13. I got my own job. I got my own money. I cut grass and I work for McDonald's on all this bullshit, whatever. And we get approached by a fucking
Yeah.
security guard like we have just done something wrong. And it's one of them dudes in a suit, older guy, whatever. And it's like we done something wrong. And I'm like, he's like, "Where are your parents?" And I said, "They're over there at that casino. That's where they told us to come over here and play." "Well, you guys are uh violating curfew, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "My mom and dad are gambling right over there, you know." And 15-year-old me was mouthier than 38-year-old me, believe it or not,
Mhm.
Terry. I know you find that hard to believe, but I was an angry fucking child.
I can see it in those old pictures. I can see
Dude,
your smart
I was
ass
an angry
showing.
child
Yeah.
too. So like this guy bothering me while I'm playing video games, and I'm paying to play the video games, mind you. And I'm like, and the dude's like, "You guys are a bunch of, or you guys he calls on his radio. He's like, I need to escort 2 juvenile delinquents across the street to find their parents." I swear to God, I looked the man in the face and I said, "Who the fuck are you calling a delinquent?" And he looked at me. I said, "Sir, we're visiting from out of town." I said, "We're honor roll students." I said, "My parents are across the street."
We're honor
I
roll
did. I told him.
students.
I told his ass. I said, and Look
Here's
at
my
it,
report
motherfucker.
card. Look at it. Look at it. A
I
plus.
said, so who are you to call anybody a delinquent? And he's like, well, we have rules and you're breaking them. I said, where are your rules posted? Up front. And I said, well, we were escorted through the side door. Oh, well, that blah, blah. I said, I don't give a shit. And I told this guy that I don't give a shit. And he's like, I said, we'll go find my parents. He's like, we have to escort you. I said, go ahead and escort us. I didn't have a cell phone. Here's another fun fact about me, Terry. People are going to learn all sorts of crazy shit about me. I didn't have a cell phone until I was 19 years old. That's legit. Like, did not have a cell phone. We still had landlines. And back,
That's about
yeah.
what it was
And you're,
for me. Yeah. When I moved to
so
Auburn,
you
I
know
got a
I'm a
cell
few
phone.
years older than or younger than you, so you know that it was like 2000,
Mhm. So it was a big
buddy,
thing
it
for
was
you to not have
2005
one.
and I
Yeah.
didn't have a cell phone. All right. Uh, but anyway, they find
I was playing Snake on my
exactly.
Nokia
And
when
look
in
about the
'99.
Nokia, you
So
couldn't
yes,
break that
I get you.
bastard if you tried. But anyway, throw the thing on the ground, it won't break. They find my parents. My mom is gambling or whatever. My dad comes up, and my dad has a fucking. Now picture this, okay? This is a 275-pound man with a 20-inch neck, and is all red because
Mhm.
he's been drinking, and it's hot because this is July in Las Vegas, about like what we're gonna do here this summer. The son bitch is wearing Jesus walkers, as he calls them, sandals, Jerusalem cruisers, and he's got Bermuda shorts on, a Hawaiian shirt, 4 buttons down, chest hair fucking hanging out, his hair grown out, and he's got this big ass drink. I wish we still have the cups probably at the house, or he does from 20 fucking years ago. But he had this big ass margarita drink and it was La Bayou is what it said. And so he's sipping on this drink. He's like sipping on it. And in his other hand is his signature Marlboro Red. And the cop comes up to him. And my dad is like I didn't realize he was that lit. But, but because he's drinking this big ass umbrella drink or margarita. And the security officer comes up to him and says, "Sir, we had to escort these juveniles. I understand they're your children." And my dad's like, "Yeah, they're my children. What have they done?" And he does this, and about a third of the cigarette just choop off the damn tip of it. And my dad had this ability to smoke an entire cigarette without ever ashing. Like he'd puff on the cigarette and it would continue to burn and the ashes would never drop.
Just
The
throw it.
fucking craziest thing I ever saw. So he'd be like, and all of a sudden the ash is just hanging there and he'd hit it again and I'm like, damn, Dad. And he's like, well, these kids are over there and they're not supposed to be and blah, blah, blah. And my dad looks at the guy and he says, were they misbehaving? No. Did they do anything out of line? Well, that one got a little mousy, pointed at me. And my dad's like, yeah, he'll do that. What did you say to him? and, and I looked at him and I said, Dad, he called us delinquents. And my dad looked at that guy and he said, sir, my children are not delinquents. Now you may go. And I was like, oh shit, Dad's going to get in a fight with a security guard. He didn't. It was disappointing. But he's like, this is my dad. He's like, your mom's inside. I'm gonna go get her to finish gambling. Y'all sit right here and wait for us. We're sitting outside the fucking casino. My mom hit a jackpot or some shit on the slot machine. It's another 45
Oh
fucking minutes.
wow.
We're sitting on hot concrete at 11:30
I
or 12 o'clock at night. Buddy, I mean, it was wild. It was the craziest shit. So when I saw you put Fremont Street on the things to do in Las Vegas, I said immediately, "Yep, I'm telling Terry we need to go see if La Bayou in Las Vegas still exists because I'm going back there."
Yeah, we gotta go back to the place and see if we
Oh,
can
he's
find that
dead
security
probably. He
guard.
looked like a real asshole. But
It'll be
yeah,
another
it's been a
experience
long
like
time.
Atlanta,
Oh, that's Circle K.
the
Yeah.
Circle K.
Yeah, I understand. You understand? Oh, those bastards, they closed it. Hold on. Go
Oh,
ahead. 15 Fremont. It was
something's
the
there.
address was
We'll
15
figure it
Fremont
out.
Street.
Let's
They closed it June 27th, 2016. I got the Wikipedias out for anybody that cares. Anyway, Terry, that was way too long of a segment, but I'm trying to be entertaining on this show and not just informative. Because I'm really informative
That's
about
okay.
football.
That's fun. We're
Yes,
gonna
we
have a
are.
blast in Vegas. But we got 3 more things to talk about that are big things to do in
Oh yeah.
Vegas. And number 3 is magic shows, of course. You got Penn and Teller, David Copperfield,
Yeah.
Chris
And let's
Angel,
and let's
everybody else.
well and
I don't know
you know,
who
you
all
had
they
Barnum
are,
and
but
Bailey,
magic
you
shows
know,
are
back
great.
in the day. I think, right? Barnum and Bailey, was that
Yeah.
right? No.
Circus.
Yeah, Circus, right?
Well,
No,
I said
no, but
Barnum and
the
Bailey's a
who were the guys with the tigers? They did the magic. That's it. Sorry, I don't know why I said
Siegfried and
Barnum and
Roy.
Bailey. Yeah, but Siegfried and Roy. Hey, look, I'm unprepared. My iPad keeps glitching on me over here. But Siegfried and Roy, they did that. They're like the godfathers of magic, so it's always been a really cool thing to see in Vegas. I love magic shows. We went to one in Atlanta for my birthday, which was
Yeah.
that guy was really, really
I should have included that
dude, that guy
picture
was
on here.
great,
That
but
was
I promise
fantastic.
he's not anything like you see in Vegas. There's just I mean, it's a different production level. It's
Right.
a different
Oh, that guy was on a tiny little
yeah.
stage with 20 people in the crowd. But I mean, we got a picture. We got to show that picture at some point of us up on the stage working with that guy
Yeah,
because that
I
was
mean he was
fantastic.
he
I loved
was
it.
he was great too. Like I said, not disparaging him at all. It's just because of where it's at and you're in Las Vegas and it's who it is. Like you said, Chris Angel had his own television show. Penn and Teller had their own television show. Um, these guys are huge names and obviously reservations. You're gonna have to buy tickets, all that nonsense. But yeah, if we can hit the Magic Show because we know we've got an action-packed weekend and for anybody that likes magic, just the whole how did he do it,
Yep.
figure it out, that sort of thing. Even if it's not Vegas, I recommend you find a really good illusionist or magician because they are fun to go to. And it really and it's good, clean
Yeah.
adult or and children fun. I mean, we could have taken honestly, Cyrus could have come with us, to the show we went to in Atlanta, and it wouldn't have been a big deal
Yeah.
at all because there were a lot of kids
He
in the
probably would have
crowd, and
enjoyed that
it
a
was a
lot.
really good time.
Right.
Plus, that the one difference is there that I don't think we'll see in Vegas, Terry, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. The intimacy level, that guy interacted with all of us. Like we got to go on stage. You and I did. That was cool. We did that gig.
Every single person in the crowd that night, he had either called and talked to us,
Mm-mm.
which he didn't do with us, or he interacted with us, brought us on the stage for different things. There were some young girls there
Yep.
that they were a big part of the show, and that was fantastic. He really dug into their personalities a lot, and some of that stuff, you would look at it and go, "Oh, I kind of get what he's doing." But a couple of those things that he wrote down and then started asking questions,
Right.
no
And
idea
that
what
and
he was
like I
doing,
said, there
no clue.
if we go
They're
to
pretty
these
good.
magic shows and there's 150 or 200 people or even more than that, whatever it would be, probably more than that, because they're destinations. There ain't no way
Yeah,
everybody's getting pulled into the show, not like that particular intimate setting. So I really
no,
enjoyed that. I thought it was great. But number two's next, Terry. What do we got? What do we got on the list? If,
very good.
yeah,
Number 2 is
yeah,
Cirque du
buddy.
Soleil, and if you have not seen Cirque du Soleil, there are multiple locations and multiple versions of shows in Vegas for Cirque du Soleil. It is not just one show, it
Yeah.
is all over
And
the
and
place.
you talked about variety shows at the top of our top 10, the bottom of our top 10, I guess. That's a
Yeah,
variety show inside of a variety show, and the things that they do are incredible. I follow this guy on, Instagram, and I don't know that he's in Vegas, and he's not necessarily in Cirque du Soleil, but it's similar. He's a gymnast, and at least that's how he was trained. Now he's a performer, and he and another man do all of these different. His name is Nathan Jutsi, I believe. Tujsi or SJI. I'll get it for our listeners. We can tweet it out or whatever. X it out. But anyway, um, this dude, they do live performances just like this, where they do all of the different foldings and flips and moves and all that stuff. You talk about strength, discipline, concentration, all of that sort of stuff. Plus, as you know, Terry, with these Cirque du Soleil shows, if one element of the thing is off, the whole thing absolutely fails. So it is 100%. Yeah.
And there's so many people.
Yep.
It's crazy that they get this number of people for multiple shows to be this athletic and capable. I mean, we love wrestling, and it's got a hint of this kind of thing, but these people make wrestling look
Yep.
like child's play. I mean, they do the craziest stuff, and there are so many people involved in these shows. It
Well, in the
is
coordination,
it's
like you
amazing.
said,
And hopefully we get to do all these things, but I know we won't get to. There's just so many things. It's like adult Disney
yeah,
World or something
and there's no, like
other
I
than
said,
Disney
and
World.
there's no,
You know?
it's not the money factor. Obviously, we could do all those things. It's the time
It's
factor.
time.
That's the big, because the other thing is that Cirque du Soleil show, doesn't
Yeah.
it typically run 120 minutes? So you got to get in, get your seat, get in line, blah blah blah. You're sitting there 2 hours, and then
Right, yeah. So
yeah,
you're gonna spend 4 hours. I mean, the show will be 2 hours. You're gonna have an
yep.
hour leading in and an hour afterward. Like you said, traveling, even though it's not a big distance, it's gonna take
And
you a
like
while to do
and like you
anything
say, if
else.
money
So
is no
it's a big
object,
commitment.
that's the one thing everybody does need to remember about these sort of things is Vegas is such a huge sprawling city that the time element does matter. It 100% matters. There's no you I mean, we're gonna do a 3-day weekend,
Mhm.
and we're probably all gonna need a vacation after our vacation. So, there it is, buddy. I I love that I laughed and you laughed and it was delayed.
So number 1 shouldn't come as a
Mm-mm.
surprise.
Better be what I voted for. Better be what I
Keep on
voted
talking
for.
about it.
It's my internet. We're gonna make a joke of
Well,
it.
it probably is. I think we both
Yeah.
voted for it. So listen, here's the thing. If you thought that this was not gonna show up
And
here,
let's
then you're foolish. Because
yeah.
I don't care if it's Vegas, I don't care if it's Chicago, I don't care if it's LA, I don't care if it's New York, I don't care if it's Miami. The top reason to go on
There it is.
vacation
There
is
it
the
is, buddy.
restaurants, the food. And we're
Yeah.
gonna really
So this
enjoy
is the
this stuff,
deal.
buddy. I tried
This
to
is the
find the best
deal
pictures
that
here. Oh,
so
that
we've
looks
got a
appetizing
list
right
of
there.
restaurants, our group does, of places we're gonna go. And they're on their wish lists, and we're gonna knock 3 of them off the list without even trying this year. One of them is Peter Luger Steakhouse in Las Vegas, and I cannot wait. Y'all know, for people like we talked about jokingly about our friend that loves to gamble, her and her degenerate shit, as I call it, my bestie. Um, Shout out to my life partner. But in all seriousness, this is something that we all enjoy, all of us. Anybody we've ever taken with us has enjoyed this because, um, as people may know, this is what I enjoy about traveling. I've really been disciplined about my diet and my eating starting this year. I've lost some weight, continue to do so. Buddy, when we get into Vegas, the gloves are off,
Not in
and
Vegas.
Carrie will tell you I am a whore for
Put
New
that
York
away.
cheesecake. If there is oysters on the appetizer menu, we gonna have some
Oh,
oysters. If there is steak, fillets, any of that sort of stuff, buddy, you are talking to the right people. We are down with the food. Um, Terry made the joke that we all traveled to Huntsville together last summer, that he gained 12 pounds, and then he showed us the scale that it really wasn't a joke. So, and,
Yeah. I weigh myself every single day. You know, people say don't weigh yourself every day, but I think if you've got it good mentally, that's just more data. And I can get into the philosophy of that later, but boy, I can tell when I've had a good weekend because that
yeah,
bad boy will bump up. So then I'm
some
like,
of
I
us
got to
tighten
get
our
that
belts or decide to do a 24-hour fast. Terry just steps on the scale and says, "Oh shit, we did have a good time."
Oh man. I mean, if we can eat good in Huntsville, we can definitely eat
Oh
good in
yeah,
Vegas.
yeah,
We ate
buddy.
good in Chicago.
And the thing
It's going to
is
be
that my friends
fantastic. I
love
can't
about
wait.
me is they know I'm a fucking whore for food. So if I recommend the place, you should go. You should go because I am a snob, a little bit anyway. But Gibson's hit, Connor's hit, um, the Sundial hit in Atlanta, the little place we went to dinner.
Good place in Atlanta, dude.
Oh, dude, that was
That Mexican
trash.
place we went to,
That wasn't
nah,
even a
we're good
like
without that.
like Mezcalito down the road from me here in Goldsboro. If you're ever in Goldsboro at the Air Force Base, Mezcalito's right down the street. That shit was better than what we ate in Atlanta, and you could get it for half the cost and get more food.
It was horrible.
But the dinner was good though, where we went to Ruth Chris the night before. That was good. So yeah, it was very good.
Oh, it was. It was very good. I'll
Connors was
still take
great.
Connors
Connors
though.
Connors is up there. I think Gibson's was better than Connors, but not by much. But
But
Gibson's
Gibson's
was
was twice as expensive,
30
probably.
30%, 35% more expensive. Yeah. So, well, did
30%.
I do the math there right?
Okay.
It was yeah, 3 point.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
I
a full 35%, not tip. Just food to food, drink to drink, 35% more. But you're in Chicago.
right.
You're in downtown Chicago at the Rosemont versus Huntsville, Alabama. No offense to Huntsville. That's like when we go to Las Vegas, you go to Peter Luger's. I mean, I'm fully expecting to have a $500 to $600 bill. Everybody says that's crazy, that's outlandish, that's outrageous. Yeah, might be.
No,
But
that's
if you're going
realistic.
to Peter Luger's Steakhouse for a nice dinner with your friends, drinks, dessert, appetizers, entree, I promise you, you'll drop 500 when there's four of you. So it is what it is. And I'm
Well,
not,
so
and nobody think
so
I'm
I went to
bitching about
Hawaii
that
for work.
because Terry will tell you,
Like,
I have a savings account and it's designated
it
food.
is what it is.
That's what it says is food. That's the name of my savings account. It's the food budget for when we go traveling. So, um, it
Well, I went on a work trip to
but you've never been
Hawaii
to Vegas. Stop
15
it.
years ago, I
Stop it.
guess. And it was well, but well, it was a work trip. I didn't have to pay for it. But I went I guess that was my first five-star dining experience or whatever. Um, that was the first time I spent triple digits just on me. But man, I came back like I'm never going to Red
Well,
Lobster
I
ever
don't think
again in my
we've
life.
ever I've
It just
I
doesn't
think
pack up.
I've eaten at a couple five-star restaurants because I've eaten in Vegas. I think you probably have. I think our other group members have. At least one of them. I can't speak for the other. Um, but I don't think we've ever eaten together at a five-star restaurant. And I know we're talking a lot about food, but
Yeah, I
buddy,
don't
if
even
if
remember
we're
being
eating
to
at
it.
if I would say if we're
Well,
eating
why
at
would
3
we
and 4
not?
star restaurants right now, we're good because I promise you, we're not. I think we're batting about 900. We ain't batting 1,000. That Mexican restaurant was hot garbage, but we certainly are batting about 900.
It was bad. Oh, well, I mean, we also have to mention that breakfast place we went to, when we were in Huntsville, the breakfast, they
Oh,
got the
buddy.
biscuits and all
Now
that
little
stuff. That was
places
good.
like that. Okay, so folks, here's the thing. Now Terry's opened Pandora's box. We're gonna talk about food. I'm making my boy Bromwell happy. Uh Polly B
Might
loves
as
when we
well.
talk about food. which if you listen to the Orange Show, that's why he gets excited about food questions because he travels for work, and if people have food suggestions in different towns he may visit, that's why he gets excited about it. But anyway, let me back up about us. What was the name of the place, Terry? Because Cyrus was there, and Houston worked
Oh
there,
goodness.
and
Well,
Carl the
my son
baker
was
worked there,
working
and I
there.
forget the name of it.
Yeah. Um, I don't even I don't even remember the name of it myself, but goodness, I
It,
would have to
it
look it
doesn't
up. Put
matter.
me on the
This
spot there.
place,
What
this
is the
place
name of
had a
that
line out the
place?
door, rightfully so. Little downtown. Was it downtown Huntsville? Would you call that downtown? Madison. Okay.
It was in Madison. So Madison, well, it yeah, Madison is a little bit to the west of Huntsville,
Yeah,
and
because
it's
we
closer to
we
where I
drove
live. I'm gonna look up Madison,
Maple
Alabama
Street, that's
biscuits.
it.
Maple
We drove a
Street
little bit. So it's Maple
Biscuit
Street Biscuit
Company.
Company.
That's
It's
what
this
we
little
got.
place. It is a slice of heaven, okay? So you walk in, you get the little bar there. You take the order. Carl the baker took our order. He was fantastic. He's a great baker, by the way, and a listener of T&A Top Ten. We appreciate Carl. But they had a plate-sized biscuit for everybody, and you could order what could we get, Terry? Chicken, the obnoxious like chicken waffles. Yeah,
Awesome. I'm gonna look up the menu.
let's talk
You
about it.
wanna talk about this? We're gonna talk
So,
about
and
this.
the other thing
Maple
is the portions, like
Street.
this place I would give a 5-star Google review. Service was fantastic, food was hot and delicious and fresh. The the portions were
It was good.
enormous and the price matched the portions. They weren't giving me a 4-ounce piece of salmon blackened salmon and saying, "Hey, that's a
Okay, here we go.
$50 piece of salmon." Get the fuck out of here. I can go to Harris Teeter too and blacken salmon. But Terry, go ahead with the menu because you got it.
Alright, we got one with fried chicken, syrup, and
Yep.
bacon on it. That's a sticky maple. The cowboy has fried chicken, country fried steak, bacon, cheddar, egg, sausage, shiitake gravy with a kick. I mean,
These are
giant
plate
biscuits with
size,
great
guys.
stuff on there. Fried chicken,
Yeah, we
bacon,
ain't lying.
cheddar,
These are
sausage.
plate
Yeah.
sized.
Man, I'm so hungry now. I ate
That a
like
boy, Terry.
carrots and stuff today and yogurt. And we're sitting here
Yeah,
talking
it
about
was.
biscuits and
I'm
stuff.
telling y'all, this place, Maple Street. You said it was, Terry. Maple.
Yeah. And the first place I ever went to one of these was in Louisville. Was it Louisville? Somewhere in Kentucky. Yeah, Louisville.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it was. Went up for my son's birthday. We went to um like Kentucky Kingdom, which used to be Six Flags up there. Um, and we went
yeah,
to the Maple Street up there. So when it started coming down here, we were really excited. And there's another place kind of like that that just opened up here too called Biscuit Belly or something. So there's multiple of
yeah.
these. They're popping up everywhere. But
Maple
man, I
Street was
can't get enough of this
fantastic.
stuff.
And then, because we are
It was.
Southerners, I've lived here long enough in the South. I consider myself Southern. Certainly not a damn Yankee, but our damn Yankee friend.
Yeah.
She's from fucking New York, and she drives like it too. Listen, whenever we go to the South to visit my friends, we got to go to the Waffle House and get it smothered and covered, peppered and chunked. So that's what we did. We actually went to the Waffle House too. And people say, "I thought you guys were just talking about five-star dining experiences." Baby, if you ain't ever been to the Waffle House,
How is
especially if
Waffle
you go
House
after
not five
hours because
star?
you get dinner and a
Come on,
show. Let's be honest. There's some people in damn Waffle House.
man. I'll take an all-star over most meals
I
anywhere.
love Terry so much for that. But no, we certainly enjoy it. We're gonna review food from Vegas, I promise. We got another trip coming up for a special friend of ours, and she and her fiance getting married. So there will be a food review somewhere in there, I'm sure. Um, because we gotta eat, right, Terry? We gotta eat something, even if it's Waffle House. We'll review
Well,
Waffle
we're
House for
gonna
you.
eat.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's
We're gonna eat. And my deal is and I don't wanna plan out all the meals. I wanna show
yep.
up and find out what I see. Like, that's one thing about Gatlinburg, for instance. we talked about like Disney and Vegas being things that you're not going to do
Mhm.
everything. Gatlinburg's the same way. It's a lot more redneck version of that, hillbilly maybe. But one thing I always loved walking in Gatlinburg
Yep.
is just finding some random
You
restaurant
you
that
can do
looks
the
good and
you
just
can do the
popping in
same
there.
thing in
I
Savannah.
love that.
You can do the same thing in Charleston. Um,
Yeah.
I know these are vacation towns, folks, and that may be why we're mentioning, but I promise you, like Terry said, you can walk down old Savannah or old Charleston, South Carolina, the old brick road, the old slave market, bad time in our country. I get it. That's not the point. But you can walk down these places and you see 50 different restaurants within 2 to 3 miles, and pick one. You won't be disappointed. That's the best part. Pick one. You will not be disappointed. And I think, like you said, Terry, Gatlinburg is going to be on our destination list at some point. There's no way possible with the crowd we have and the interest people in the group have that that there'll be no way we miss Gatlinburg at some point. You know what I mean? There'll be no way we miss Gatlinburg. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Plus, geographically,
Absolutely.
it's fairly close for most of us. So, um, but yeah, the food thing for anybody watching T&A Top 10 with us or listening, this will be a recurring theme, we promise, because there are no dose. I don't know, 4 or 5 trips planned, and we might find a place to tell you where to go. I know that allegedly, I will be having Thanksgiving in Alabama, and that's only because we gonna be driving to Tuscaloosa, Roll Tide, to watch old Alabama take on
Oh
Auburn
man.
in the
Trying to sell you on this whole
in the
stayed
Iron
retired, we
Bowl,
don't have to
baby.
do it thing.
Because we gotta see what Caleb DeBoer's gonna do, and of course, Terry's man,
Yeah.
whose name I just lost. God help me, I'm sorry, Terry. Had another
Hugh
good week,
Freeze.
and they're gonna have signing week
Hugh
again. I
Freeze.
don't know if we want to talk about college ball next week or not. We'll have to see if what the big shakeups are because this is my
Yeah,
fault,
we'll
folks.
catch up
Terry
at
had a
some
different
point.
topic in mind, and we started talking about food, and I went on my little tangent about old Fremont Street, Las
No,
Vegas.
if we
Um,
ever listen,
but
listen,
one of the things,
if we ever start talking about
yeah,
food,
well,
it's gonna go long. And we can drop all the other topics and just keep focusing on the food
Well, the
because
most
I can talk
expensive
about that
meal,
all
since
day.
this is a Vegas show and we're talking about food. By the way, we will get back to this NIL thing next week or something. There's a topic we wanted to talk about. We'll get back to it next week. There you go. Um, because Terry, quite frankly, I think it'll be more relevant next week when they start the damn recruiting. Again, the signing starts again. So anyway, what Terry,
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you was I went to Las Vegas, obviously in 19. I told you that. I spent so much money on food, it was ridiculous. I went to Bobby Flay's restaurant. I think I went to one of, well, I got told by our buddy, my platonic life partner. I said, yeah, I ate at Bobby Flay's and I thought it was really good. Do you know that she went, hmm, hmm, it's okay. I'm like, "What?"
She's like, "There's way better than that,
I
buddy.
was like, "It was good." So
Way
I
better
have
than
pictures,
that."
I think, on my phone still. I may share them with you so we could put them on social, but I had surf and turf in Vegas and Caesar Palace, and I don't even remember the name of the restaurant, but I'm pretty sure I have a picture of the menu. Um, this is no kidding, buddy. They brought me the biggest damn lobster tail I had ever seen. And you know me, I'm a beef eater. I love the
Mhm.
steak. And they brought me this steak
Yeah.
that was obnoxious to go along with this tail. 2019 was a great travel year for me, and I think all joking aside, I know we've talked a little bit about the plans that we have with our friends and such. Uh, Fun fact, because I just saw the picture. The very first Orange show was at StarCast 2019, StarCast 2, and now I am the quote research guy for the Orange show. How about that, buddy? But anyway, I'm trying to see if I have
That's
this
right.
damn picture. I probably got rid of it because I had too many pictures on my phone. But this thing was like a platter-sized lobster tail, and it went along with the oh, no, I have it. You are Look, we're gonna do a live. I'm sending this to Terry now. Buddy, so the point of this is I got the surf and turf, of course, and it does matter where you buy it. Nobody will ever convince me otherwise that it's not a big deal where you get it. It was in Caesars. This was a $150 meal before the tip. And as people on the show know, I don't drink alcohol, so there was no alcohol in the price of that meal. Because one of the fun things that everybody knows is dessert, appetizers, and drinks are what rack up your bill. Honestly, and
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think my meal in Hawaii, that was my first big meal like that. I think I got a slice of key lime pie or something like that. I
mhm.
got dessert of some kind. I don't know why I'm thinking key lime pie. Surely it was something better than that because I don't really like key lime pie. And I got coffee. There's no
Not in
telling how
Hawaii,
much
there
that
ain't.
coffee
Yeah, no
cost
way, buddy.
at the end of that meal.
um,
I mean, it came. I mean,
Up to that point, that was a $200 meal, which there may be people listening that's like, oh, I dropped $200 on a meal. Up to 2019, I wasn't making real money. Sorry, I've been very blessed that way. I've I've worked my way to where I'm at now, and am compensated very well for it. I don't apologize for that part of it. Um, but if you ever told me 5 years ago, in 2019, that I would have no problem dropping three, four, $500 on a meal with friends, I'd look you in the face and tell you you're fucking crazy. That shit ain't happening. Um, Terry will tell you that I have no problem finding us a good place to eat, and I have no problem leaving the tip or picking up the bill. I don't give a damn. Um, because it's not about the money. That makes it sound like I'm the $1 million man here since we're all wrestling fans. That's not the case. I'm not wealthy by any means. I'm blessed. I'm not wealthy. There's a difference. Learn it, live it.
not
No,
spending
for
like
real.
that, you're not.
But I don't spend money any other time. Like that's the thing. I'm such a cheap bastard. I don't spend Look,
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone can see this. Hold on. Can you see my phone here? Can you can you see that, Terry?
probably
Can
not.
you see the phone
The
case though
phones don't show up good.
on my camera? So this spot right
A little
here where
bit.
my finger is, this is torn. This
Mhm.
right here, the side piece right here, that pocket is missing that covers that
Mhm.
particular piece up for your turning the phone off and on. This piece right here, missing. My point is, I could go buy me another $20 skin for the phone case. Guess what? I just deal with it the way it is because it's all right. It's still working. So,
I'm one of those risky
yeah, he's
bastards that
he's an
doesn't have a
idiot.
phone case.
Um, if you saw how many times I dropped this thing, you'd understand why there's tempered glass on it. But I say all that.
Well, my magnet charger thing won't connect
Oh,
to
that's
it if
true.
I've got a
I
phone
say all
case
that
on
to
it, so
say
that's
this,
the biggest
folks, and
thing.
if you take one thing from my crazy ass today, take the following advice. Save your money, spend it on what you want to do, make the memories with your people. Put this phone down while you're having those memories being made, but let someone take a fucking picture of you with those people that mean so much in your life. And remember that it's only money. You can make more. What you don't make are more family members, more friends, more people that you value in your life. So when you get to spend those times together, treasure them. There's a reason I speak so fondly of my time with Terry and our friends and our plans and all of this other stuff, because the rest of the year it's a grind working and being an adult and, not having all of the fun and being able to say, fuck it, you know, I'm going to buy a $200 lobster tail. And I hope you got the picture because you should see that thing, Terry. But anyway, it's gorgeous. My point to say all that is,
Well, speaking of that and working your ass off most of
no
the
fun.
year, sorry to cut you off, but it drove me crazy being stuck at home for a week, not being able to work,
Yep.
using vacation time,
Yep.
and not
That's the
being
other
on
thing.
vacation.
That's the other thing.
Hated it.
Terry just said it and it works. Thank you for interrupting me, by the way, because this will work to wrap this point up. If you're at a job like I am and you get 15 days of vacation like I do, take the 15 days of vacation. Because as much as I love the people I work for and with and have trained and helped and the customers and everything else, if I die tomorrow, they'll replace my ass before my funeral. And that is just a fact. Um, I don't know if any of my people at work listen to this show, but if they do, they can all agree that's probably a fact. And it's okay. I'm not mad about it. I'm not. That is the reality of the world we work in. My father had a heart. I talk a lot about him, I guess. Had a heart attack at 54 years old, and the doctor said this is stress induced from work. How many hours do you work a week, sir? My dad said 80. He said, no, I mean not a pay period. How many hours a week do you work? He looked him dead in the face and he said, 80. This man was
80.
working 80 hours a week, sleeping 5 to 6
Goodness.
hours a week, and had a massive heart attack at the age of 54. Did it help he's a smoker? No. Did it help he was overweight? No. Did it help that he's developed diabetes? No. But the doctor said the primary cause of the heart attack was stress. I'm not going to have a fucking heart attack at 54. That's why I've really committed to the diet. It's why I work out. It's why I do things like I used to not take vacations, Terry. Who needs a vacation? You need a vacation. And you need to spend it doing the things you like to do to hit your reset button and to spend it with the people that you love. That's what you need to do. And that's what I can say positively today. Other than make sure you eat good food because you deserve it. Two
Two
things.
things, sir. Thank you for the positive things you said and all the times that we have spent together and we are going to spend together. And secondly, you cheap bastard, let's
Yes,
talk about the
sir. The
champ of the
champ.
week. So we said that every week we're going to try to end on a positive note here. And, the first week, I surprised
Embarrassed.
Andrew here. We didn't call it the champ of the week that week. Last week we talked about Justin Yent and the Filter Free Popcast guys and the good things that they're doing. Um, and this week we went a little bit
Hmm.
more well known. And this champ of the week this week is Ashton Kutcher. And I know everybody's going to think that's Kelso from that '70s show. Why is he the champ of the week? Well, this is a guy that's done some good things in the world. And if you hadn't heard about it, let me tell you a little bit about it. So when he was married to Demi Moore, they started this organization called Thorn, the Digital Defenders of Children, and now they're divorced, but he's still really involved in this. Um, their mission statement, so to speak, is to accelerate victim identification, equip platforms to understand how to protect children, and empower the public with information. So, some numbers that they've put out there, um, the number of child sexual abuse files reviewed by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in 2004 was 450,000. In 2019, it was 70 million. The internet took hold, and this has been a problem that has been very difficult to squash because we did the discussion about Vince McMahon, and there's so many people out there that want to take advantage of people, especially children, because they're helpless, and it's just sick individuals. And Ashton Kutcher has tried to do something and try to provide an avenue to help defeat this thing, or back it down as much as we can. Um, it's hard. The internet is such a vast place with so many opportunities and so many smart people with bad things on their mind, and that are gonna kidnap these kids, they're gonna traffic these kids, and they're gonna end up on the internet, and there's so many bad things will happen. And we've got to fight this. We can't just stand by and watch this go by. And Ashton Kutcher, he's using whatever he can. This is a smart guy. Kelso was stupid, but Ashton Kutcher, he's a smart guy, and he's using his network. He's using his intelligence. He's talking to the right people, trying to put as much information out there to help fight this as he can. And this is our
Yeah,
champ of the
I
week,
really
Ashton
love
Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher in all aspects, his work on the screen. Obviously, I believe he's married now to Mia Kunos, and so this is another she's another I'm very
Hmm.
supportive of all this work he does. I've seen his testimony before Congress. The man broke down in tears talking about children and the exploitation of children and the vile acts people do to children. Um, and I think we said we were gonna end this on a positive note, Terry, but, um, child sex abuse for him it is.
Well, it is a positive. It is a
Yeah,
positive
because
movement
child
against
abuse,
negative things.
sexual abuse, trafficking, molestation, all of those things are real, and I can guarantee you all, you know a victim of childhood sexual abuse of in some way, shape, or form. You may not realize that you know somebody, but it is that prevalent, and to Terry's point, um the deal with the minors and the pictures and people wonder why did they put that little, emoji over top of that baby's face, that celebrity person, why don't they want everyone to see what their kid looks like? That's why. That right there is why they don't want everybody to know what their child looks like. That right there even if they're in the public spotlight, they still wanna protect their children from being in that
And
spotlight
with the
and
emergence of
being the
AI
potential
technology, some of this stuff's getting ridiculous.
victims, correct. Being the victims, so good for Ashton Kutcher because like Terry said, it's really easy to say, "Oh, he's the burner from that '70s show," Kelso, Michael Kelso, and that's how most of us were introduced to him, sure. But the man's heart and compassion for children, the safety of children, protecting children, absolute standing ovation from us here at T&A Top 10, and we love, respect, and admire what he's doing. Because quite frankly, not everybody is built I know I'm not Terry, I won't speak for you. Not everybody is built and equipped to deal with that level of evil. Because let's face it, you're talking about sexually exploiting defenseless babies, children. I mean, they're babies, I understand they might be 5, 10, 12, whatever. They're little people. They can't make their own decisions. They don't know any different. They're still learning, developing. You're supposed to nurture them, not do that. So the fact that he even picks that banner up, picks that baton up and runs with it the way he does, that in itself deserves to be our hero. But, the work he's done, the actual results he's getting, amazing job, and I will always support what he's doing for that particular, work and service because we need more people like him, Terry. That's all there is to unfortunately, we need more like him and less like
Yeah.
the people on the internet and the, trolls and the they're not even trolls, they're pedophiles. I mean, that's what it is, they're pedophile we're talking about pedophiles here. Um, so really,
Right.
really respect it.
Yeah, it sounded a lot more like you said, are we really ending on something positive? I think, obviously the whole story here is not positive, the fact that this exists, but our champ of the week is Ashton Kutcher. What we ask you to do, if you've never been there, go check out thorn.org. find out what they're doing. If you're willing, go ahead and donate to them and help their cause. And this week's champ
Yep.
of the week is Ashton Kutcher. I think we've had a pretty decent show today. A lot of
Food.
talk about food, and that was not quite as expected. But man, I
We
can
can
talk
and
about
we
some
will.
food. In the coming weeks, we're going to be doing some stuff. I
Yep.
mean, going to be some trips. There are going to be some trips. I don't know what that's going to do to our schedule coming up. When we're going to record, when we're going to do this or
We're
that,
loose.
whatever it is, we'll let you know about it. I've got you know, AEW is coming to Huntsville in a few weeks. I'm going to be, quote, front row for that, whatever that means. I could be one of those front row slash really on the seventh row kind of things because of the weird seating arrangement, but we'll see. Hopefully, I get on TV. I've done that before. It would be great to get on there again. I'll see if I can bring some surprises for people watching. So watch out for me. I'll remind you guys about it
You're gonna have to
when it
because
comes up.
because
But
I don't even watch.
thanks for another
Yeah,
show,
I was gonna
buddy.
say,
Another
do
great
remind
show.
us. Thank you for that, by the way. Do remind us because I don't even watch AEW except with fast forward anymore. So if I know I need to be looking for you, I'll be looking for you. But yes, good show, Terry. I loved it. I got tangential, which everybody expects these days. Terry's supposed to rein my ass back in, but he says just let it go. Sometimes it's best to just let
Good
him
though.
finish.
No, I am not stopping you talking about fried chicken and steak and lobster and stuff. It ain't happening. That's the best. That's the best segment we've had on the show
Well, it
ever. What
might
are
be
you
a top
talking
10.
about?
And here's the thing. We're
I
working
ain't
on
stopping you.
polls. We're working on, and I know because I told Terry this all the time. The only people that care about polls are cross country skiers and strippers. Thank you, Sarah Palin. But we talked
And we
about
talked about
Vegas.
Vegas, so there
But
you go.
we are Terry, not we. I participate in the polls because I have to vote. It's kind of a rule for the show since it's our show. But Terry is developing ways to get some more audience participation. So hopefully we can roll those out. It seemed to be better this week.
We'll
Would
see.
you agree? Than the last time we tried a poll? A little better? We're
Yeah, I think so. We'll get there. Yeah, yeah. The first attempt was like,
mhm.
"Holy crap, this sucks." Second attempt is like, "This is a
You're gonna
little bit
find the right
better. We're gonna
technology.
find the right technology. We're gonna make this work. We're gonna do one of these polls every week."
But here's what we can say, and I'm gonna let Terry close it down with this final remark. Not even I know what the top 10 poll is for next week. So stay tuned and we'll let you know. Terry, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. It's been a great show. Thanks for tuning in this week. Um, I'm sure we'll talk about Super Bowl results next week. What
No.
else will we talk about? Who the hell knows? We have 7 days to figure that out. We'll figure it out in about 5 days. That's how we work. It's not going to get any better. We will not improve that. Seat of our pants every week, and you'll get our best. Everybody have a good week. Love the people around you. Tell them you love them. Don't forget to say it because you never know what might happen next. Have a good week, everybody. Talk to you soon.